Hello YouTube, this is Daniel again, and welcome to another video of my PC build. This is the software point of view of my computer that I've built. And I'm going to be using that today to show you guys, around on the software side of things. So let's get started, since I only have 55 minutes of battery power on this camera, and this battery is fairly old, so who knows how long that's going to really last. Alrighty, so powering up the computer, I did not do that yet. What I'm using hardware side of things today is a DVI to HDMI converter on this monitor. I also use that same converter with my Pi, if it's right in my desk right now, since I'm not using it at the moment, and I also have the HDMI plugged into the monitor itself. So, since HDMI is pretty clear and it does pretty well with this monitor, I use it with it. So, this computer is fairly special, and let me set the computer's input on here to the new one I built. There we go, just a green move of the slider. Alrighty, so let's power this on, and this is pretty freaking cool what this thing can do, how it powers on. So to power it on, all you have to do is type in a 4-digit key combination on the keyboard, and that should turn it on. So I'm going to let you guys look at the camera, or not look at the camera, but look at the computer, and I'm going to type that in. Now it does take a few tries because the computer was just off. There we go. So it takes about 2 times to do it when you've plugged it back in from a little while. So it should start working. So there it goes, loading the BIOS, and this is going to load right into Ubuntu. To my knowledge, it should. There's a weird tapping noise coming from it too when it turns on. It kind of seems to just fly away, I guess. So here is the ubiquitous GNU grub that usually appears when you have more than one version of an operating system on a computer. There's the Windows XP Professional operating system, and then there's Ubuntu itself. So we're going to use Ubuntu, and then I'll show you guys XP. Doesn't take that long for it to start up either. I measured it when I first originally set up the computer, and it only took about less than 45 seconds for it to boot, and I thought that was pretty impressive for this thing. So I measured that when I originally set it up, and of course I installed applications on it since then, and it has probably bogged down the performance a little ways. You may not be able to hear this.
Come on, Mr. Finch.
Okay, if you guys did not hear that, rather than no login sound, I was able to actually set up a login sound from Ubuntu, from older versions of Ubuntu, like Ubuntu 9.10 or 9.04, and I was able to do that, and I had that on for a while, and then I changed it to a line from a movie called To Kill a Mockingbird. And that line from that movie is actually Mr. Cunningham coming in with Atticus's payment for the debt he owes him. So he paid him, I think, in a bag of corn. I think that's what he did. And he was mourning Mr. Finch when he met him or saw him. And I think that was kind of a pretty interesting line, because it was kind of interesting how he said it. It was mourning Mr. Finch. The way he said it was kind of interesting to me. I don't know why. But anyway, that's my startup sound, and that's what I'd like to go with for a while, until I switch to something else or switch it back to the regular startup sound. But anyway, only 50 minutes of battery, and I didn't even use the 5 minutes of it already. Actually, I have. I used about 4 minutes and 30 seconds on it already. Alright, so here we have a few applications. I have Half-Life. Wow, this is going to be a little hard for me to use this camera and the computer at the same time, especially since I'm right-handed. So here we have Half-Life, Minecraft, Nancy Drew, Star Trek Online, and Steam. And you're going to see maybe about half of those programs are going to seem a little strange. Oh, and VNC Viewer. there's going to be about half of these programs are going to seem a little strange to you since it's appearing on a Linux box. So Half-Life and Minecraft are both compatible with Steam. I'm in Linux now, thanks to the Steam client and VNC viewers also. But Star Trek Online and Nancy Drew, as of when I make this video, are not compatible with Linux whatsoever. How I've achieved this is, well, Star Trek Online doesn't really work, so we're just going to rule that out as a possible working program. How I was able to achieve Nancy Drew to work was by using this program called Play on Linux. And what this allows you to do, this allows you to play Windows games on Linux. And I'd like to show you that game sometime running on this computer. Since I don't have a lot of battery power left, and, well, actually I could just get my charger. I would have to stop the video though, and making me actually edit it. You know what? I'm going to try editing on this computer and see what it feels like. So this is going to be the first video that I edited on this machine. So, I'll be right back. Alright people, so after running my charger for this camera over about a few times with my desk chair, I was finally able to get this all hooked up. So, of course, your guys going to be limited to a rather awkward angle with it actually semi-zoomed in because how close it is to my desk chair and compared to the screen. So, you guys are going to have to bear with me because this is pretty much why I like to prefer using it. Of course, I could always use a video capture program to capture what I'm doing on the screen, but I really don't have the money to buy one right now. And I don't know of any that run on Linux. So anyway, I guess while I'm in this setup, I could show you that guys how that all works. But we'll show you guys later. So, right in the top bar, you see we'll have a Wi-Fi, which is coming from that Wi-Fi card, and the Bluetooth, which is off, speaker, and the time. As of when I make this video, it is Sunday, August 10th, 2014, 10:11 a.m. Of course, what Linux likes to do is it likes to use the time from their computers rather than the time from the BIOS. I'm sorry, the time from their, well, I don't know. Well, just the whole timing system of Linux is pretty strange because when I usually boot into XP reads the time as about maybe 3 or 4 hours later, and it would say like 2 in the morning on my on Windows XP, even though it would say like 10 a.m. or it would say like 1 p.m. or 11 p.m. on Ubuntu. That's a pretty strange system, and I don't really know how it all works. But one of UXW Bill's videos explains why that was the case. So I uninstalled Firefox because, quite honestly, they're really failing in their design, and especially how it looks almost like Chrome. And I reinstalled that with Google Chrome. I was gonna go with Chromium, but I could not figure out how to download it for some reason. Even though I've downloaded it in the past, especially on my laptop, I was unable to download it. So Google works pretty well, or the whole Chrome browser works very well, and especially when using it with Ubuntu, with YouTube, that works pretty well too. Steam works, and games too. Ubuntu Software Center also works pretty well as well. I also have a disk in the drive which I don't need, so I'm gonna remove that. And looking at the bottom, you guys can see the two different hard drives that are in the computer. The only one that's not showing is my computer, is the 1 terabyte drive. I don't know why it doesn't show it there, but it is in the home menu. There's the 80 gig volume with XP on it, and there's the media drive, formatted with the FAT32 partition because I want to share it between XP and Windows. So there you have, guys, my music and movies. My movies are well, I'm going to do a hide for them. So I just have Windows 95 Video Guide, Pink Floyd The Final Cut, and Pirates of Silicon Valley. I went to put To Kill a Mockingbird in here, but I forgot to. But I can simply just copy it to the drive because this is actually a network drive as well. So there's all my music. I actually want to delete some more that I don't listen to, because I started my music collection when I was fairly young. Like buying music on iTunes, I started buying it when I was fairly young, and I have a lot of songs that I bought when I was a lot younger that I don't listen to that are pretty childish to me nowadays. So, of course, that'll probably go through everyone's lives when they get to that certain age. Anyway, that's the 80 gig volume with Windows XP on it. There's all of Windows' files, and there's the 1 terabyte drive with Ubuntu on it. I don't know why I sound like I have a cold, but I really don't. There we go. Alright, so anyway, I also have GIMP on here. I didn't try it out, but I installed it. There's the little dog thing that GIMP's logo's shown to. And here's that startup login script that I have to play the sound. So what I did was I downloaded that sound effect of him saying "Good morning, Mr. Finch" off the internet, and I just simply made this program with. I just simply used MPlayer, and I directed MPlayer to the target path, or the source file that I wanted to play the music from, that which is in my home folder. That is hidden with a dot in the front of it, of course. And there's also the login sound, but that's off because I have the Morning Mr. Finch thing. I could enable both of them. That would sound a little strange because they're both playing at the same time, unless they would do it one at a time, which would be kind of interesting to try it out. So what else on here? The background is not the Ubuntu's default. This is just one of their backgrounds that came with the computer, or came with the operating system that I changed it to. I kind of like it. Also, LibreOffice came on this version, so nice, which I do use sometimes. I did use it a lot in a book project in 7th grade. Alrighty, what else? I also did test out the Bluetooth with my dad exchanging a test file and him giving me a picture in return of a small kitten that he was playing with, which is kind of cute looking, and that works too, so that's nice. Audacity I installed, but it has some issues with Linux. Like when I would record, it would record a few seconds of the song, but then it would stop, which would be a little frustrating. So here's Rhythmbox. Rhythmbox, as you can see, all the files have loaded because I already opened the media drive that contains the files on it. But if you usually boot the computer up and then immediately open Rhythmbox without opening the media drive, it would show that the music folder would be empty until you would, and it would find it, and it would see that all the files are missing until you would double click the hard drive in that corner right here, the media drive right here, and that would open the folder that it's showing. Here, let me show you an example. So let me pretend that the computer is on and all the files on the Rhythmbox are missing. So to fix the problem, all I have to do is just open the media drive by clicking it down there, and that would open that folder up, or the full window up, and that would also get all the songs back. So media drive is all I'm going to use it for, as a media drive with movies and music I can put on it, because it's files that I could easily get back with my Mac, and stuff that I don't really mind losing because, again, I can easily get it back. So I'm only going to use it as the media drive, and it's also shared on my network so everyone else could use the music on here. All the music, of course, is in iTunes .m4a format, and the movies are in MPEG-4, because I don't really download a lot of movies anyway from iMovie. I meant from iTunes. And even if I do, of course, there's that stupid copyright protection that it prevents you from playing it in any other video program besides QuickTime and iTunes. So I have quite a few songs of my ubiquitous songs. I got the Monkees, like Pleasant Valley Sunday, and of course it's coming from that speaker down there. I don't think you can really hear it so well. And I have other songs. I think this one might be a little bit louder. This is I'm a Believer. That's a lot better, actually. That speaker right there is a gift from my father from about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It's an iHome speaker, and it has been doing well with me ever since I've used it. But I didn't really have much use with it till I got my Raspberry Pi. Now I pretty much use it all the time. And Moody Blues plays pretty well on here, like Blue World or How Isn't Life Strange. And of course, Pink Floyd. I don't want to play anything that'll get me copyrighted instantly. So, like Arnold Lane, that works.
Arnold Lane had a stray.
And also, of course, we have my family's music in here. I keep both songs, which are of course not copyrighted. My family members band, you can see a video of both songs on YouTube. It's just a vinyl playing with the songs on it. You can guys listen to it even more, but I'm not going to play the whole thing because I don't really have a lot of time. So here's my family member songs, like Doctor Help Me from Bad Jack. And Rockin' the USA. And of course I got my favorite band, Slugbug, or at least one of my favorites. And Talking Heads, of course. Whoops, I actually do not know that would do that. Thanks, really. Ubuntu is pretty well at the way they run their programs, and it allows me to quit out of any program pretty nicely. So, that works. Let's open Steam up and I'll show you guys Steam. The most processor intensive and graphic intensive game on this computer that it does pretty well with, if you have all the settings of course turned all the way down, because it's using an Intel, I'm sorry, not Intel, but AMD, or not AMD, well I'm not really sure AMD uses it, but the ATI Radeon HD 3000 graphics chipset, so it's using that, but it does pretty well on this computer. So it says none of my games are installed, which is strange because they should. And what is wrong? Alrighty, that's odd. It says none of my games are installed because I do have them installed. They should be in here. So I'm in the Steam folder. Don't know what is wrong. Not a clue at all. Because that would kind of suck, because I used like a lot of space to put these games on here, and know that they're missing, which is very strange, is again strange. Alrighty, so I'm going to exit out of Steam and see if that actually might make it work. Alrighty, so I exited out of it, but it doesn't look like that it caught up with the whole computer itself. Okay, let's reopen Steam again, because that was a very strange experience that's not supposed to happen, at least because I installed all of the games that are compatible with my computer. So reopening it, let's see if it works. Yep, there we go. All the games are back. I guess it was some random weird thing going on, and it is downloading and updating all of them. So I'm just going to show you guys Half-Life and how that runs. Just a few seconds of it. And then Half-Life 2, and then maybe some shots of Portal 2, that's the most graphic intensive game I have. So Half-Life starts up pretty fastly on this thing. Turn the volume down a little bit. It's doing a new game, an easy, or training room, because, well, I don't have a lot of time, so, and plus that's immediate. So Half-Life starts up pretty well on this. I'm actually going to install Jamie's mod on here, because that's one of my favorite Half-Life mods.
Hello and welcome to the Black Mesa Hazard Course, where you will be trained in the use of the hazardous environment suit.
As you can tell, the Half-Life engine runs pretty well on here, or the Gold Source engine runs pretty well on this machine.
If you see one of these buttons,
So that's Half-Life, and that runs pretty well on this machine. So that's Half-Life, and that runs pretty well. Once it quits, there we go. So then Half-Life 2, same idea. I'm only going to show you the menu because it already does show some graphic-y things on the front. And that also doesn't take that long to start up either. Now what can really bog down the performance of the graphics is like particles, and that really has some issues. Like when looking at a fire going, it can really slow down the computer. So as you can see, there's the Half-Life program. I don't need to open the game and get it running to actually show it to you guys that the graphics are pretty fast for the current setting they are at. So everything is moving pretty slowly. You can see things doing whatnots, and you can see some birds flying around and the sun in the sky. If you zoom in ever so slight, you can see people walking. If you could. Seems like everyone just left. Oh, there's something flying right there. But either way, if you see right here, there is a Metro police officer thingy. So, that works. Oh, there's something moving right here. See, there's moving people. So, that's Half-Life 2 running pretty well on this computer right now. Oops, I got into the settings. Just quit. And now Portal 2, which is in beta for Linux. So they just recently released it for Linux, but it is pretty well thought out beta. And it works pretty well. As well, the Source engine does, of course, run pretty well on this. Especially the Portal 2 Source engine runs pretty well, too. And thankfully, Portal 2 runs it all on this thing, because normally Portal 2 games tend to have very specific graphics settings. Like, especially when you have a laptop that is not even OpenGL capable. My laptop has OpenGL, but the problem is the Windows 8 drivers don't recognize it. And that's an issue that I've came with that version of Windows. So I'm going to mute this, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys it running. So from a random continue game. And then I'm only going to show you a few seconds of it running, and I'm going to quit it. I'm going to show you guys Nancy Drew running, and then I'll quit that, and then I'll show you guys XP. So there's the Portal 2 game. It's already been loaded. And you just kind of walk. I know it is kind of a little slow. The frames are not really that good, but it's alright because it does work. I'm in a random corridor with Wheatley telling me to run, but I'm not, because I'm just showing you guys. So graphics can have some issues in this game. I think I could improve it. I'm not sure. I think everything's set to pretty low, and the filtering set to trilinear. I can set that to bilinear, because that'll actually make it faster in some ways, because I don't like filtering. Watch. And it runs semi much better, kind of, sort of. So that runs pretty okay. It was running pretty fast when I used it. So that's that game. This might be a video, so that's probably why it's not really that slow. But it does pretty good too with speed on games on that game when you're in a closer space, when like you're not standing in a huge room. It runs pretty well when you're standing in a small room. So that right there is Steam running on the computer. Steam running on my machine. So I'm going to quit out of Steam. I'm going to go ahead and get my Nancy Drew disc. Show you guys the whole thing with that. And yes, of course, you're going to have to get the whole play game disc to actually get it to play. So you just need to pull that out. I tried installing Trail of Twister, but that didn't seem to work all that well. Just getting confused and stuff. I don't know what was going on with it. But I'm going to try again some other day. But at least I was able to install one of my favorite Nancy Drew games, which is the Final Scene. So simply just pull the Final Scene game out of your disk. It's kind of like launching it on Windows. In order for you to play it, you must have the game, play disc. And of course you cannot play without it unless you have it. And of course it will give you an error if you don't have it. Alrighty, so pulling that disc out. And by the way, I actually got this computer set up about 4 or 5 days before I made this video, so it is going to be slightly old. Or what I'm showing you is going to be a little old. And I meant to show you guys a lot earlier, but there was just a lot of tinkering around I wanted to do with the machine. Alrighty, I got it with some... Finally got it opening. See if my game is there. Yes, it is. So it looks like that the game works. It had some issues loading at first, but I was able to get it. So this is Nancy Drew, the final scene on Ubuntu. I'm sorry for the tremendous long waiting. I didn't know why the Play on Linux program wasn't working right, even though it did try to open Nancy Drew, but the thing was, it just didn't seem to want to open it. So that all works. Now I'm going to try one more time opening it from the actual shortcut that's on the desktop. Because when I opened it, it was instantly on. But it doesn't seem to want to do it. Oh, this time. I think it got it. Wait. No, it didn't. Fail. Alright. Something's really wrong with it. I'm not really sure what it is. I'm pretty sure that it can be fixed in the future, but right now it just doesn't want to work. And I don't know why it doesn't want to work. But either way, it can be fixed, but it's not one of those times I want to fix it anyway. So it looks like that none of the utilities seem to be working correctly. See, it would not keep that window open. I think Play on Linux needs to be reinstalled, because it could not keep that window open. When I try to do Task Manager, what will it do? Show that and close out for no reason. So something is probably wrong with the Play on Linux program, and I may need to reinstall it. But it shouldn't really take that long, since the only game that I don't mind you losing is Nancy Drew, the final scene, because I didn't really get that far in it. Barely even scraped it, quite honestly. Like, just wanted to see if it was even possible, quite honestly. That's what I was all really doing. But I'm not sure why it isn't working through that program, and I think just Play on Linux might just be the problem. But that is the program, and for some whatever reason, like in my test bench video, there is a floppy disk icon that appears even though there is not a single floppy drive in this computer. I'll just open Minecraft before we reboot. I just want to show you guys to see if it'll run, and for some whatever reason, oh, it does. Okay. So there goes the Minecraft launcher is running. I use a program called, it is Java, but it's something called OpenJDK Java 7. And it is basically Java, but it's for Linux. It's a more user-friendly, I guess, install. A lot of people don't like this version all that much, but I don't mind it. It works, it does the job, and it does Java games pretty well anyway. So it's opening the launcher. Taking a little while. There we go. Did take a little while, but it did open. So that is the launcher. Just hit play. Minecraft runs pretty well on this computer with the graphics turned all the way up, which is very nice. It's always a good thing. It might be in full screen, so I'm going to back my camera up a little. Or not. Nope, full screen. And it looks like it's running, but it's semi-slow. And I just open the world. Takes a little while on this. I mean, really, you can't blame it because, well, first of all, I'm using a processor that is 4 years old as I make this video, and I'm using graphics that are okay, but not the best. So it would make kind of sense why it would be a little slow, but it runs okay when it does. It looks like it's one of those moments where it doesn't. At least it did run pretty well with it. Wait, let me wait for the computer to catch up. Now letting it load. Now, normally it's not this slow. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the graphics down a tad bit. Of course, we can turn down the render. Alrighty, so let's see if that fixed anything. It's improved-ish. Not the best, but normally it's... Oh, there we go. We're getting speeded up a little bit. I guess the particles from the water are making it a little slow. Let me just turn down the particles, because this thing seems to have an issue with them. And other stuff. Okay. I don't understand. It was running pretty well when I originally got this Minecraft, when I got Minecraft on it, but I'm not sure why it's running as slow as it is. Turn down the particles, clouds I can turn off, don't really use them anyway. Smooth lighting, don't need. That kind of speeds it up a lot, that's better. Not fast, but it's better. And when I quitted this game, I was stuck in a rather big valley. I'm pretty sure if I got out of this, now it's running pretty fast now. Pretty sure if I got out of this valley, it would be, well, more helpful. If I can. No, I can't. But oh well. So that's Minecraft on here, and now let's reboot this thing into XP. Whoopsie, I just suspended the machine. Looks like I have to type in that password to turn it back on. I think suspend on here is their way of saying hibernate mode. On my laptop, suspend is like sleep mode. I don't know why. So I'm going to shut down the computer. Well, I'm going to reboot it into XP. So I do use XP mainly for maintaining the computer, like upgrades in the BIOS. I can only do that in XP. So that's pretty much what I use XP for. I don't connect it to the internet, but when I do have to, I would have to, unfortunately I must, I would have to, what do I have to do? Oh yeah, I would have to get my Raspberry Pi's Wi-Fi card, because that's compatible with XP, and the one that is built in that I bought, the Intel one, is not at all. So I'd have to buy, or I'd have to use the one that comes with my Pi. But I do play 1 or 2 games on this. I play Star Trek Online on this copy of Windows XP. I don't usually do, but when I do on here. And I play a game called Santa's Rampage, and it looks like disk check is checking my disks, which I don't want it to. It's checking my media drive, because it was like... Alright, finally loading. That took a little while. Finally loaded the operating system. I don't know why it does that, but it just seems to. So there we have like the audio control panel, which is VS thing. You can adjust the volume and the equalizers in this. It's pretty nice. And then we also have the various other programs I use, like VLC, Google Chrome, Performance Test, which does benchmarking. Fortunately, it's not going to be to its maximum since this is a 32-bit copy of Windows XP, and it is not going to recognize all 8 gigs of the RAM, and it won't take everything to its full potential. So, what else is there to show? There's also the EasyTune software. I do have Steam on here, but that's only for just one game, and I don't really use it all that much anyway. So, waiting for that to load. I'm not really an impatient person. I just usually know that this computer is a lot faster than it is right now anyway, so it shouldn't take this long to open a program like this. And of course the clock says it's 3:02 p.m. because of the strange way Ubuntu Linux operating systems keep the time. It's actually about maybe 11 or 12 p.m. Well, it's about 11 a.m. roughly, I guess. And the EasyTune software is not opening at all. Processing? No, it is not. It does take a little while to open, because it seems that XP doesn't load everything when it opens anyway. Oh, there we go. Now it just showed it. I had to click something in the bottom anyway to open. So there's all the information of the processor, the memory, tuning for overclock, which I don't want to do at all. Smart to adjust the fan speed of the PWM fan for the processor, and hardware monitoring, which monitors the voltage for the computer. It says case is open because I don't have a switch to tell it that it's not. So that's the Easy Tuning software. Nothing special about it. There's Audacity I'd keep, Adobe Reader 9. Most of these programs came off the motherboards, drivers, and software whatnots. So, yeah. Alright, people, that's me. I also have Claim One right there, too. And alright, that's my overview of the software side of things of my computer build. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, for whatever that may be. I think that might be my unboxing video for my fan filter, and or the fan hole block thing. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, and leave a comment below if you have one.